phone. I'd have been on that while working, man.
Bro, they're both the top streamers in the world. How is Speed able to call and text Kai multiple times with his schedule, but Kai can't answer him back? This dude Kai got that stealthy ego. It's like camouflage. You gotta squint and not be naive.
Has got caught lacking. He left his live on and everybody could see him sitting there eating his food.
So now we're mad at IShowSpeed because he's showing his true personality. You have got to be fucking kidding me right now.
Bro, Speed and Kai's conversation at the Streamer Awards just felt so forced. No shade, but Kai only wanted to check in with Speed to show off his 4 awards that he won and to also look PR, hence why they took a picture together.
Speed, let me tell you something. This is some real fuck shit, bro. I'm happy you got your little tour going on and everything, but you did this shit right after Kai Cenat announced his Streamer University 2 and his big return back to streaming, nigga. You just got off of a fucking Caribbean tour, nigga. You just got off of that shit.
IShowSpeed has a new problem. Now, Speed is getting hated for the most normal thing ever. IShowSpeed has been involved in a lot of controversies over the years. Some were deserved, some were overblown, and some were so ridiculous that it's hard to believe people were actually serious. But this might be one of the strangest situations he's ever been involved in, because recently people tried exposing Speed, not for saying something crazy, not for starting drama, not for getting into another internet beef. They tried exposing him for eating food. Yeah, seriously. Some viewers genuinely believed they had finally discovered the real IShowSpeed because he accidentally left his stream running after it ended, and what they saw completely changed how they viewed him, or at least that's what they claimed. Because according to some people online, the energetic, loud, chaotic version of Speed that millions of viewers watch every day isn't actually real. The real Speed? Apparently it's the guy quietly sitting in his room, scrolling on his phone and eating a cinnamon roll, and somehow that became a controversy, which honestly tells you more about the internet than it does about Speed. Because when people decide they want a creator to become the villain, they stop looking for actual evidence. They start looking for anything: a facial expression, a tweet, a 5-second interaction, even someone eating dinner after work. And that's exactly what happened here. But before we talk about the eating clip, we need to talk about where this whole thing actually started. Because this wasn't really about food. It wasn't even really about Speed. It started with a rivalry that some fans became obsessed with creating, and that rivalry involved Kai Cenat. Now let's get one thing clear. This isn't really a Speed versus Kai story. The two have known each other for years. They've interacted publicly. They've appeared at the same events. They're both at the very top of streaming. That's exactly why some fans constantly compare them. Because for some people online, two creators can't both be successful at the same time. One has to be winning, one has to be losing, one has to be the hero, the other has to become the villain. And that mindset created the first major controversy. When Kai announced Streamer University and Speed announced his FIFA World Cup plans around a similar time, some people immediately assumed there had to be bad intentions behind it, not because there was evidence, not because Speed said anything, but because they already wanted there to be a rivalry. And then one particular fan took that idea and ran with it.
Speed, let me tell you something, nigga. This is some real fuck shit, bro. I'm happy you got your little tour going on and everything, but you did this shit right after Kai Cenat announced his Streamer University 2 and his big return back to streaming, nigga. The fact that you pop up right after showing that you got a fucking marathon popping up right after 2 shows your jealousy, nigga. It shows the kind of character you are, bro. It was Kai's time to shine, nigga. You just got off of a fucking Caribbean tour, nigga. You just got off of that shit, bro. You should have sat the fuck down and waited for Kai to have his fucking moment, and then you do this shit.
This video started spreading online. The argument was simple. Speed announced something huge right after Kai announced something huge. Therefore, Speed must be jealous. Therefore, Speed must be trying to steal attention. Therefore, Speed must secretly be competing with Kai. And when you actually hear it out loud, it sounds ridiculous. Because Speed's World Cup project wasn't some random tweet he made in 5 minutes. We're talking about FIFA, international travel, major planning, months of preparation. This wasn't a last-minute decision designed to ruin Kai's moment. But once people become attached to a narrative, logic stops mattering, because the goal isn't finding out what's true. The goal is proving what they already believe. And that's where things started getting weird, because after the Streamer University drama failed to convince most people, some fans became determined to find something else, something bigger, something that would finally expose Speed. And then Speed accidentally handed them the opportunity, or at least they thought he did. One night after finishing a stream, Speed forgot to end it. The camera stayed on, the stream kept running, and viewers got a rare glimpse of Speed when he wasn't performing for an audience. People expected some shocking revelation, some hidden personality, some secret behavior that would completely change how viewers saw him. Instead, they got something much more dangerous, a guy eating food, and somehow it became the next controversy. Clip spread fast, way faster than it should have, because people genuinely believed they had finally found proof that Speed was fake.
Mad at IShowSpeed because he's showing his true personality. You have got to be fucking kidding me right now. Is that not what we strive for as content creators, to be as us as possible? Like, don't lie, you've sat there and seen somebody online and was like, they're acting fake. That is not how they actually are. Why the fuck are you complaining about how IShowSpeed is after he forgets to end his live stream? I don't know why I did quotes. It's something he actually did. He forgot to end his live stream and then sat on his phone, and people were like, oh, now I really see how IShowSpeed is. Now I'm really mad.
Think about that for a second. The accusation wasn't that Speed said something offensive. The accusation wasn't that Speed got exposed doing something wrong. The accusation was that Speed seemed calmer when he thought nobody was watching, and somehow that was supposed to be shocking. According to some viewers, this proved the energetic version of Speed wasn't real, because the person they saw on stream was loud, chaotic, unpredictable. Meanwhile, the person sitting alone after the stream ended was quiet, relaxed, normal. And apparently that difference was enough for people to call him fake. But if you actually think about it for more than 5 seconds, the entire argument falls apart, because literally every creator does this. Every streamer, every YouTuber, every entertainer. When the camera turns on, they perform. That's their job. They entertain. They bring energy. They create moments. And when the camera turns off, they go back to being normal human beings. Nobody expects actors to stay in character after filming ends. Nobody expects comedians to tell jokes every second of their lives. Nobody expects musicians to perform concerts in their living room at midnight. Yet somehow, people expected Speed to keep screaming at a cinnamon roll while sitting alone in his room. The logic makes absolutely no sense. What's funny is that the exact same people who constantly complain that creators are fake suddenly got upset when they accidentally saw a genuine moment. For years, people have said they want authenticity online. They want creators to be real. They want to see the person behind the character. Then the moment they actually see it, they call it evidence of being fake. It's completely backwards. And the more you look at the situation, the more obvious it becomes that this was never really about the eating clip. The clip itself wasn't the story. The story was that people desperately wanted there to be a story, because when someone reaches Speed's level of success, people start searching for reasons to bring them down, especially when fan bases start treating creators like sports teams. Once that happens, every interaction becomes a competition. Every achievement becomes a threat. Every success becomes something to compare. And that leads us directly to the next controversy, because while some people were still arguing about a cinnamon roll, others became obsessed with another moment involving Speed and Kai. A moment that lasted only a few seconds, that somehow generated thousands of comments. The Streamer Awards, one of the biggest nights in the creator world. Kai had an incredible night. Multiple awards, massive attention. Everyone was talking about him. And at one point during the event, Kai and Speed crossed paths. A completely normal interaction. At least that's what most people saw. But internet detectives saw something very different.
No cat, congrats to all of y'all. That
Yes, sir, bro.
Where's your ball at?
You get the real behind you, dog. You get the real?
I know y'all my second family.
All day, man.
Let's make up, bro.
Not yet.
Nigga, answer your phone. I done been on that. I've been working, bro. I can't go my movies. Look up right now.
The two spoke. They smiled. They took pictures. They exchanged a few words. And if you showed that clip to a normal person, they'd probably say the interaction looked fine, because honestly, it did. There was no argument, no confrontation, no obvious tension. Nothing dramatic happened. But that didn't stop people from analyzing every frame like it was the Zapruder film. Suddenly, viewers became body language experts. People started slowing the clip down, looking at facial expressions, analyzing tone of voice, trying to figure out whether the interaction was genuine or not. Before long, an entirely new narrative started forming. Not that Speed and Kai hated each other, but that the interaction felt forced, that it felt staged, that it felt like two creators pretending everything was okay for the cameras. And once that idea started spreading, the reactions got even crazier, and that's when the fan reactions started spreading everywhere.
Speed and Kai's conversation at the Streamer Awards just felt so forced. No shade, but Kai only wanted to check in with Speed to show off his 4 awards that he won and to also look PR, hence why they took a picture together. Speed is so genuine, the first thing he said to Kai was he told him to start answering his phone, and Kai went around it saying saying he's been busy working.
Answer your phone, bro. I've been on the act like I've been working, man.
Bro, they're both the top streamers in the world. How is Speed able to call and text Kai multiple times with his schedule, but Kai can't answer him back? Dude try to say it's because he's been busy watching anime. Ironic, isn't that Speed's thing? The funniest part is Speed ask him, is he really watching anime?
You really been watching it? I swear to God, yes. I won't go with depth though.
I feel like he can read Kai so well with his persona, and he also knows Kai just doesn't want to answer his calls. This dude Kai got that stealthy ego. It's like camouflage. You gotta squint and not be—
Some viewers became convinced the interaction wasn't genuine. They argued that Kai only approached Speed because cameras were around. Others claimed Speed looked like he wasn't fully buying the conversation. Some people even started treating a 5-second interaction like it was proof of a hidden rivalry. And here's the problem. Nobody actually knows. A short clip doesn't tell you what two people think about each other. A smile isn't evidence. A handshake isn't evidence. A photo definitely isn't evidence. But the internet has become obsessed with finding hidden meanings in everything. A conversation becomes a statement. A picture becomes a message. A normal interaction becomes a conspiracy theory. And once people become invested in a narrative, every new piece of information gets forced into it. That's why the Speed situation is actually so interesting, because when you look at all three major controversies surrounding him recently, they all follow the exact same pattern. First, people claimed Speed was jealous of Kai because of the World Cup announcement. There was no evidence, just timing. Then people claimed Speed was fake because he forgot to end his live stream and ate food. Again, no evidence, just assumptions. Then people claimed Speed and Kai secretly had tension because of a brief interaction at an award show. Once again, assumptions, different controversy, same formula. Because at the end of the day, the people most invested in making this rivalry real aren't Speed or Kai. They're the fans sitting in comment sections trying to turn every normal moment into a controversy. And judging by this entire situation, they're running out of material.